Today we're talking Trump's tariffs on video games. What will it do to the prices, and could it tank the launch of the Switch 2? Plus, Dr. DisRespect is back, Sony's making a real handheld this time, and we've got some fun video game stories to be thankful for. Stick around for all that and more. Happy Thanksgiving, friends, and welcome to this week's episode of Good Playing With You, the weekly gaming podcast. I'm Dan Whitehill, and as always, I'm joined by my fetching family of Matts, Matt Lord.
Hey, how's it going?
And Matt Molding.
Hey now, happy Black Friday.
Yes, happy Black Friday to you too. We've got a lot of big stories this week, so let's just jump right into those headlines. First up, President-elect Trump wants tariffs on all things imported, but what will that do to the price of our favorite hobby? In an article entitled How Trump's Tariffs Could Cost Gamers Billions by Ethan Gatch on Kotaku, he says the import taxes could raise prices significantly. It's a long article and it's worth a read, but I'll summarize here for our conversation. The main concern here is that a percentage of the price increases from the tariffs will be passed along to the consumer. Quote, experts tend to agree that the majority of the tax will hit customers' pocketbooks instead of the company's bottom lines. Walmart, Best Buy, and other stores are already saying the results would still lead to dramatic price increases compared to what people are paying now. In 2019, there was a tariff threat. During his presidency, Trump proposed a 25% tariff on goods imported from China, including video game consoles. But back then, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo united to oppose this, warning it would increase console prices and burden American consumers. Their lobbying succeeded in delaying the tariffs and securing exemptions for consoles, sparing the industry significant cost hikes. However, now that Trump was reelected in 2024, he has pledged even steeper tariffs, 60% on Chinese-made goods and 10 to 20% on imports from other countries. These tariffs aim to boost U.S. manufacturing, but are expected to have minimal impact on employment while having heavy taxes for consumers. Price increases. Experts are predicting tariffs could raise gaming hardware prices significantly. The current Nintendo Switch will go from $300 to $400 possibly, as well as experts are estimating the PS5 Pro could go from a current $700 to almost $1,000. Now, these are just estimates, but they're looking at with the current industry and the proposed hikes. It would also affect accessories like GPUs, gaming headsets, handhelds, and other computer equipment should see the same spikes. Consumers could pay $7 billion more overall for gaming products, with the U.S. console sales proportionally dropping by 57%. Those are some pretty significant estimates. The industry has seen this kind of coming and has been trying to adjust over the years. Companies like Nintendo have started shifting manufacturing from China to countries like Vietnam, while others explore alternative production bases. However, analysts warn that these shifts are costly, slow, and limited by capacity and supply constraints in nations. Experts believe higher prices could accelerate the move towards digital and cloud gaming, reducing reliance on physical consoles and games. However, Matt Piscatella, executive director and video game industry analyst at Circana, recently speculated that companies could actually raise the price of digital games to compensate for the rising price and the MSRP on physical store shelves. While Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft may again unite, hopefully, and lobby to mitigate the tariffs, a lack of compromise could lead to a dramatic gaming price hike for all of us in 2025. So basically, what do you guys think of this? Will these tariffs impact our prices? What's going to happen next?
Yes. Well, tariffs are taxes, and they're taxes on the American consumer because these companies don't pay them. They pay them and they pass them along to the consumers. The countries that the tariffs are levied against do not pay extra 25%. That's just not how tariffs work. That's the politics of it. And I think it was a lot. Trump would always say, like, tariff is the most beautiful word in the English language. That was one of his favorite lines from his rallies and stuff. And what I think is going to happen is that they just won't be enacted. I think it's a lot of like campaign rhetoric that's just not going to happen. And if it does happen, he's going to probably make exemptions for his cronies, for his buddies, so that they don't actually have to pay them. So if it does happen, let's just hope that Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo become some of his cronies and don't end up having to pay it for so that we don't have to pay it, because that's who it will end up going to, us, not China or Japan or any of these other countries. So
Good
hopefully
point.
it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I
Lord?
hope Baron is a big gamer, because
Yeah, right?
hopefully he tells dad, no, we cannot do that to our video game industry. I know the big concern is going to be the price hikes on these Chinese, emulation little devices. These are going to skyrocket. I know as soon as he was elected, the US bought, like, a lot of retailers in the US bought a ton of these Chinese devices to get ready for the storm. So I think there's definitely going to be a visible hike on everything. And these are just the cheapest devices. So when it comes to like something like a PS, like a PS5 and a PS6 or something, if that's, in the cards, it's going to be pretty steep. But theoretically, I mean, I did see another news story that Samsung is building that giant, like, silicon factory somewhere in like Texas. So I mean, I know that's going to take forever to get up and running, but who knows? Maybe we could see some sort of strange tech boom in the US from this. Fingers crossed, like, something positive happens where we can actually if we get devices made here, I would love to see those actually be more reasonable than having to import something from like China or Japan anyway. So that could be sweet, but we're many years away from anything viable. That I don't think it would impact us that much, but maybe Roe down the line, she could game with a
Yeah.
American-made GPU. We'll see.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think this does have me a little bit concerned because Trump has been more bullish on his tariffs this second time around than he was the first time. 25% was what he was saying before, and then it got amended. And now he's saying 60%. So even if the big three Voltron together and form one unit and lobby successfully, they might not get the tariffs completely reduced to zero. There still might be something that we pay, for. And it's not like Matt Piscatella's point was really salient, because my concern is it's not going to just hit these physical products, that they're going to have to start raising the prices of the digital products. And when it's going to happen, when the video game journalists try to convince us, when video game journalists on these blogs start saying, well, it's understandable, well, the price of video games are so expensive, well, when they start apologizing and explaining things, we're screwed, because they are the biggest suck-ups to these companies. And when I start to see that, that's when I know that we're really screwed, because the digital prices will be going up too. I think that's the real bellwether.
Hearing that digital could go up just like boils my blood. I'm just like, that is going to be just the worst to see. And it's going to happen. I mean, how else? It's going to be the easiest thing to do. They're like, okay, our sales are 80% digital. Well, let's mark it up. And it's as simple as that. I feel like it just makes sense to them as a business to do. So,
but when they get those bloggers on their side and they try and excuse it and explain it to us, I feel it's so condescending and rude. And obviously they're being paid to say it, and it's fake.
Let's throw up in my mouth style.
These companies.
He's fired up about tariffs. I understand.
Totally.
Yeah, these companies, they don't care about. Dobby, go on your thing, bud. Never mind. I don't have.
He feels strongly about it. He has a lot to say.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. No, you're right though, Dan. I feel like as soon as you see, like, it goes from blogs and then it goes to Reddit, and Reddit communities will rally as well. You got the PS5, community also justifying these hikes on digital prices. And I'm just like, it's a digital product. Like, digital is going to be the end of me. I'm telling you.
I agree.
What I was going to say is we know that these companies, consumers are not they're not on the side of consumers, because if they were, digital would be cheaper now than a physical release, because they wouldn't have to pay for all the product, the creation of the packaging, and it's not. So they're making money off of each one of those digital purchases versus what it used to be when it was all physical. So they're not on our side. No one's really on our side, to be honest.
I'm on your side.
Only us.
Yeah.
We're the only ones that are on our
we're
side.
a team.
Yeah. And happy Thanksgiving, crowd.
Yeah.
No, but this does have me a little bit concerned here because no doubt in the crossfire of all of this possible price hikes is Nintendo. They strung us along for the past year and they made us wait and wait and wait so that their precious Switch console could sell as much as possible. And now that their Switch console is starting to dip after only a mere 141 million or so sold through, they're starting to talk about Switch 2. And we know their president said, by possibly March, and the rumors on the streets for the past, 6 months or so have always said, look, January 2025 reveal for the Switch with a March 2025 launch. So the original Switch was $300 at launch, and experts were expecting Switch 2 to be $400. So how do you guys think the tariffs are going to affect the launch of the Switch 2? Could Trump really hurt the launch of the Switch 2? And what price do you guys think the Switch 2 will now launch at?
I think it has to be like a 500 at minimum. I think could be 500, 600, and depending on the hardware. I mean, you don't think so, Balding?
No, give me the right. I think it's horrifying.
No, I mean that was like, whoo, that's expensive.
I kind of think so. I mean, if it's, I didn't even realize it was a 50% or 60%. I mean, geez, that is going to be so. If the Switch is still at 300, I could see it being I could see it doubling at launch. So I think that's kind of my take. I mean, is that going to hurt sales? I definitely think so, because I think the price is way more manageable at 300 and begging your parents to get you the money to get the system. I don't think that at that point, maybe the parents even say, hey, look there's a PS5 over here. It's much more powerful. We have the Best Buy employee telling us this, which might be more expensive as well at that time. But I'm just saying it something like that could happen along the way.
Me personally, I would just wait. I would just wait until the price goes down. I'm not going to need a Switch 2 all that badly. So I just wait. And that hurts Nintendo. That doesn't hurt me if I wait. So
100%. I feel the same way. It's going to make me pause and wait. So Lord saying a launch price with the tariffs in full effect, 500, 600. Molding, what is your estimate on launch price for Switch 2?
I'll 550.
There you go.
You fenced it right in the middle.
I'll bet $1. Oh wait, this isn't the Price is Right.
You're doing Price is Right kind of stuff on us here. Well, or do you think they eat some of the cost for the system and keep it low just to get units out the door?
You're talking about Nintendo either.
No company eats costs. They don't do
Not
it.
anymore. Because consumers have let them get away with it. Now they charge full price.
And here's the other thing: if people are still each year buy a new generation of iPhone for $1,000+, maybe it won't hurt them at all. Maybe people will just be like, "Okay, I'll pay this," and they just keep on paying more and more.
Yeah,
that's a definite possibility.
Definitely possible. It's scary to think about, to be honest. So let's just kind of wait and see on that one.
Yep. I just feel bad because I wish they hadn't waited. I wish that Switch 2 should have come out this year like we all wanted it to, and they wouldn't have to worry about this extra tax. And now we all are going to be paying a lot more or waiting because Nintendo waited. And that sucks. I mean, they couldn't have known Trump was going to win, but, and come out of the gate swinging with a 60% tariff. Anyway, moving on, Dr. DisRespect is back. And moving on to other news, now also interesting. Dr. DisRespect, he's on Rumble. I'm not even familiar with what this is. Yeah. Lord, you have this story.
Well, guess what, boys? Dr. DisRespect, he got demonetized on YouTube after the allegations got revealed from why he was banned on Twitch. And after the demonetization, he left YouTube for a little while. He came back for a stint. And then guess what? He announces that he's joining Rumble. and this is coming from Kotaku, from Ethan Gatch. Um, sorry, this is I'm just kind of lagging on my computer, of course, a little bit. Yeah.
Ethan's the prolific writer of my article too. But
Oh,
so Rumble is this right-wing streaming place? Is that what it is
right.
now?
Right. It's a little more like, to be honest, when I'm reading this article, I did not realize that Rumble was a live streaming platform. So I don't know if they're just trying to get into that game like a Kick, because I would have expected him to join a platform like Kick. But so this is just like a little, like, there's a lot going on here that I think there still needs to be like unpacked, because going from going from Twitch to YouTube to Rumble, I can only see this being like this is the most downgrade you could get to, essentially. And I'm assuming they just paid him a massive contract, because there's really no
They
reason
must
for it.
have.
Yeah, it must have been absolutely humongous. And then on top of that, um like, I mean, it's just weird. Like, love him or hate him, he's definitely an entertainer, and he wants to have the most eyeballs on him as possible. So it's just strange that he would go to this platform. I would have thought Kick would have been the play, as opposed to a more just kind of out of the blue Rumble take. It's just very strange. What do you
And
guys think of this?
Rumble's for right-wing,
Yeah,
political people that, the alternative media that wants to be able to say whatever they want to say. Is that right?
that's right.
And that's how they're
Yeah,
positioning themselves. And
like Russell Brand is on here. It's alt tech platform. Um, and it also says, let's see, Beam's first stream on the new platform will take place on December 2nd. The move comes a month after YouTube rejected Beam's initial request to have his channel partnership reinstated after it was demonetized over the summer due to past misconduct that got him banned from Twitch in 2020. The new deal says nothing about exclusivity, so it's possible. So it's possible Beam, known for playing Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Elden Ring, and other games, will stream there from time to time. So it's not even an exclusive, uh, like, it's not even an exclusive deal. It's very interesting. And this is also interesting because this is really where I feel like Rumble was like picking up steam. It says Rumble is a video platform founded in 2013 as an alternative to YouTube that gained prominence in 2020 following the outbreak of the 2019 or the COVID-19 pandemic and anti-vaccine truther movement that sprung up and around it. So it is like, to be honest, like it's definitely like a more right wing spot. So I just feel like it's such a weird thing. Like, are there even gamers on this platform? It is just too
maybe
strange
he's
to me.
leading the charge for them. It'll be interesting to see if anyone moves over to this platform. I know that you were a fan of some of his streams, or at least you said that
Oh, definitely.
they were well produced and fun, at least back in the day.
I definitely think so. I watch him all the time. I mean, he definitely has, like I said, love him or hate him, the dude is honestly super funny. And he's also just an entertainer. He puts on a crazy stream. And the more I watch streamers, the more I just have to respect that, because streamers now are so lazy. Like, they don't do anything. So for him to go out and actually, like, he puts on his whole persona, he puts on his wig, his glasses, and he has like crazy stuff going on as far as graphics and a whole like through line. I just find that to be like pretty awesome. And it's just weird that it's going this route, where I feel like it's just going kind of off the rails at this point. I would have loved him to go back, either try again to be reinstated on YouTube and not go this route, because this is just bizarre to me.
Molding, what are your
It's
thoughts?
not bizarre to me whatsoever. he's going to who is paying him, and the mainstream places don't want to give him an audience and don't want to pay him any money, so he's going to whoever is going to pay him. And one of the things in media, it's a very common thing that happens, is someone gets quote unquote canceled, which he did. You go right, you go towards the right of the spectrum and of the political spectrum, and that's where a lot of people make their money, and they become more and more right wing, quote unquote, and they make more and more money that way because there is an audience for it. There's not really an audience for quote unquote left streamers. That's not, it's like Hassan Piker is probably the only like left wing streamer that I can think of, and he doesn't even stream video games. So I think he's just going where the money is, and that's unfortunately for society, that's where the money is right now.
It's wild.
Well, yeah, it is definitely wild, and it'll be interesting to keep an eye on it and see what happens. And, if he grows his following there, or if he grows, financially, or if we never hear from him again. I'm sure this isn't the last time we hear from him, but definitely an interesting move and one to watch.
Sure.
Also, interesting moves and one to watch is Sony. They are back in the news again by saying that they too are working on a handheld. We just reported on Microsoft announcing their handheld, and now Sony's doing the exact same thing. Sony is reportedly developing a portable version of the PlayStation 5, according to Bloomberg. This project is said to be in its early stages and still years away, mirroring similar efforts by Microsoft for a portable Xbox. These developments come as Nintendo Switch, with over 141 million units sold, continues to dominate the hybrid console handheld market, setting the stage for more competition in the future. While Sony and Microsoft explore the handheld market, the slow pace of development raises questions about the feasibility of these devices competing with the ever-advancing smartphones capable of running modern games today. The gaming industry's push towards portable gaming underscores a broader shift as companies compete to expand their reach and innovate in this lucrative market. So what do you guys think? Are Sony and Microsoft just posturing, or will they indeed deliver these devices that they're promising, and is our future handheld?
My future is not handheld. My future is this couch right there. That's my future, and my present, and my past, really, to be frank. I mean, any of these companies, they see someone else starting something, they want to jump in on it too. So I'm sure Sony has been involved in creating something like this for a long time, just like Xbox probably has, and they all pretty much, I think, know what each other is up to. So they would be silly not to jump in it as well. It's not for me. I say it on the pod all the time. It's not, handheld gaming's not really my thing. So yeah, good for people who love it. That more competition in that space is better.
Lord?
Just give it to me right now. I'm ready.
Inject it into your veins.
I'm all for it. As long as it's not as long as it's a PCP, as long as it's PCP, I'll take it.
Yeah.
As long as it's a PSP type of system, I will take it. I do not fully support the Portal. I appreciate what they were trying to do there. It's not my cup of tea at all. I don't even like the look of that system. It's fugly.
Yeah, F it.
Yeah, that thing is fugly, man.
F it right in the
Yeah.
I'm just give me the PCP, and no, I would love a PSP 3 or like something Vita like, because the Vita, I feel like, really captured all the cool things. I think a bigger, like almost Steam Deck-ish would be perfect. It needs its own little cartridge. Maybe it could go back to that cool little mini disc that the PSP was known for. I love these little systems. I think it's great. And the idea of just being portable with it and not having to worry about input lag is the dream. So
Agreed.
I'm hoping they go through it with it.
I think, luckily for you, both handheld devices would be native, so they would have their own processor and content on them. Now, here's the issue, though. I think story number one might have just shot our opportunity in the foot in terms of these handheld consoles. Now, it depends. I mean, it remains to be seen what happens and if the tariffs actually get enacted. But my guess, again, we won't see these consoles, well, maybe not until the next generation, because they're taking their sweet ass time. I don't know why. And now it's going to be even more expensive than it was before. So it's going to be cost prohibitive. It has me concerned for the future of these things. I think they're both posturing. I don't think we're going to see them this generation. It might be next. That's my thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
take.
sense.
All right, moving on. Ubisoft wants Steam to remove concurrent player count. Lord, this is yours.
Yeah. So Ubisoft has had enough of the shenanigans. People pulling the player count numbers and kind of judging a book by its cover, say from the player count. So this comes from Game Rant by Brett Bile. A Ubisoft insider has shared that people at the company have reached out to Valve asking to limit the visibility of player count data. Concurrent player counts have become a valuable source of information in the gaming industry, especially when so many video games include online community aspects enhanced by their popularity. Despite how important these numbers can be to the players, this plan could help Ubisoft in the long term. Well, of course, because they wouldn't want to see their games tanking on as far as player count goes. I'm just like stunned by this. I can't believe Ubisoft would even attempt to reach out to Valve to say, hey, we can't show these player numbers. This is hurting our bottom line. Like, you got to remove these things. I know, because we just talked about Lego last weekend and how that game was just underperforming like crazy. And I think it's just it is a valuable gauge to see, like, is this game worth my money, especially if these games are going to go up 50%. It's crazy. Dan, were you going to say something? Sorry.
No, I at first I heard that this was kind of like not officially. They didn't officially or publicly ask this. This was like just business to business sort of communication. Sure. But you know what? I don't think it would help Ubisoft at all to hide these numbers. I think people would look negatively on them, because these numbers are used to see, where your friends are and what people are doing, and, like what games are hot and what games are not. And prohibiting these numbers from people really signifies that you have no faith in your content. Right. So that's not good.
100%. I think if you believed in the content you're outputting, then you have no problem letting these numbers be completely public. It's like, if your game is tanking and you have one person online in a game, then there's something flawed there, I think. And that also is transparency to the consumer, who is like, okay, this game has nobody playing, so why would I want to jump in? I mean, that's how I feel as a consumer. It's like, if I see there's 10 people in this game, I'm not going to want to jump in.
Fucking A.
That's just how it is. And I think it's great that Valve lets you be able to see that type of information. And of course, Ubisoft wants to just shut it down. So it's an interesting one. I'm not rooting for Ubisoft on this one. I think I know they're asking behind the scenes for something to happen, but yeah.
Well, numbers from Ubisoft might not be the only thing gamers are missing out on. Microsoft, unfortunately, sounds like they're killing the Avatar system. RIP. Such good times with that, but it hasn't been very important lately. Molding, you have this story.
Yeah, this is from Fraser Gilbert at Pure Xbox. Xbox is making big changes to avatars in January of 2025. On January 9th, 2025, Xbox Avatar Editor app will no longer be available. If you've created an avatar using the app, it will also no longer exist, along with any items that you may have purchased. Microsoft says the reasoning is due to low engagement with the program, which allows Team Xbox to focus on delivering other player experiences instead. If you happen to have bought any items for your avatar since November 1st of 2023, however, you should be getting an automatic refund for them after the Xbox Avatar Editor app has been removed. So that's a little bit of good news that we don't see very often, where a company actually gives you a refund for things that you've purchased. So this comes right from Microsoft. All Xbox Avatar purchases from November 1st, 2023 through January 9th, 2025 will be refunded to your valid payment instrument after the Xbox Avatar Editor app is no longer available. They go on to say, we're dedicated to delivering great experiences for players, offering a variety of options to personalize their experience with Xbox, except avatars, evidently. Players can choose from dynamic backgrounds and profile colors on Xbox consoles and customize their Xbox original avatar, profile themes, and gamer picks on both Xbox consoles and PC. Earlier this month, we also introduced a new feature that allows players to more easily create gamer pics from their achievement art or screenshots and zoom and crop images when setting a home background on their console. Now, Dan, I know you are someone who really likes to decorate your console. You always have like your screenshots and stuff. Were you a big Avatar editor fan? I don't
Oh,
remember
you
you
know
having
it. I was
anything.
huge. That's why I was going to ask you guys is like, what are some of your favorite Avatar memories now that they're going away? RIP. For me, it really hasn't been that significant since the days of the Xbox 360. So for younger gamers, they might not know how fun these avatars were. And yes, they kind of started life more from my memory as like the little creatures from the Wii, and then all of the other console manufacturers like did the same thing. But what was great about the Xbox 360 was they actually used your avatar in the game. So whether it was A Kingdom for Keflings, Doritos Crash
Yeah.
Course, the 1 versus 100, there were just so many games that would be on there in the arcade that would use your avatar. And it was really fun way to personalize your experience. And then something happened in the Xbox one day as well. I mean, I know what happened because Xbox just quit making games for the most part. And then they tried to bring them back, but they never really caught on with developers. So maybe it's a developer issue. But what do you guys think? What are some of your best memories?
I think there was a Game of Thrones dragon one that I really liked, where you like a little dragon would pop up, like Daenerys Stormborn, and like sit on your shoulder. And then there was a
But like
unicorn
games
one
that
that I
use
really
them,
like. Oh, games.
not
Oh,
yeah.
of course, 1v1 versus 100. We've always talked about that being a really fun use of it. And then I think I played Doritos Crash Course once. I mean, listen, this isn't going to affect me at all. So I don't. It's like it's just a shame that what I mean, why I picked it is because of the refund, because that just surprised me so much that Xbox is like, hey, for the last couple of years, if you bought anything, we're actually going to give you your money back, and that you don't see that very often.
That is awfully nice of Microsoft. I know I've seen Dan. Do you still have your avatar with like a cowboy hat on?
Yep,
Or
I still
yep.
do.
All
Represent
right, so
Oklahoma.
that's exactly right. So I remember that. I mean, honestly, from my memories, always just going to go back to the 360 days. I honestly don't remember playing too many games with them. I must have been just a basic B at the time. I was. Can Sneak King be somewhere? Can you use the avatar in Sneak King or no?
No, I
Yeah.
think you were the king from Burger King.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, I love that they gave out those refunds. I mean, because it's been for so all the way. Are they saying all the way back from the beginning of this thing you're going to get it, or just past
No.
couple of years or something?
They gave the date range. It's from November 1st, 2023 to January 9th, 2025.
Oh, okay.
So
That's pretty
it's just
good.
it's just a couple
Pretty good.
years. And frankly, they probably chose that because I bet not a lot of people have purchased a lot of those
Yeah.
things
Agreed.
between those
Yeah.
2 years.
They're like, we're going
But
to
a
give
lot
away
of
$25.
but what I really liked though was that sometimes you would get an achievement that came with a little avatar
Item like
animation
t-shirts.
item that you
Left
would
4
get.
Dead
And
gave me a
yeah,
t-shirt. Depeche Mode
and that was kind of
from
fun.
Avatar. That was
Wait,
fun.
that's awesome.
That is
Yeah.
awesome.
Well,
All right,
rip.
moving on. Let's talk about some other things that are awesome. Let's quickly switch to the Thanksgiving portion of our episode. We got to get ready for our turkey time. And let's talk Black Friday savings, gentlemen. I want to know two things. First, what are the best Black Friday deals, real quickly, because I know that some people are over Black Friday, so we got to move quickly on this one. What are the best Black Friday deals that you've seen? And then I want to know what you've purchased. So real quickly, what's the first one you've seen? or the best you've seen?
Star Wars Outlaws Limited Edition on Amazon is $40. And I thought that was a pretty good deal.
That's pretty
And
good.
then just today, I saw a tweet that I am pulling up right now, and it said that that your favorite game and ours, Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League, is $3.49 on Steam, or $4.99 for deluxe, and that is deck
Oh my
playable,
God.
by the way. So
Wow.
there you go, Lord, if you want to pick it up on Steam
I might
Deck.
have to.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well,
Lord, what are the
my
sales you've seen?
yeah, my sales. Well, first of all, if you haven't bought Demon Souls yet, you can get that for $30 at Best Buy, which I strongly recommend for any PS5 users out there. And then guess what? You can get a 64 gig Steam Deck, boys. Listen up, for $296. That's 15% off. And you can get the 200 or 512 gig model for $336. That's 25% off.
Wow.
And then
you may as well just
yeah.
spend that extra $40 and get that big model, right? Like that
Exactly.
sounds great.
And you might want to get it now before Trump takes office on January 20th.
Exactly. Unless they manufacture these bad boys in America.
No, I think these are going to be hit too, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, well, that sucks.
My recommendations are Elden Ring is $20 on Amazon, Helldivers 2 and Silent Hill 2 are both $30 at Target. So real quickly, going back to molding, which ones did you pick up?
So I haven't picked it up yet, but I want Star Wars Outlaws, and I think Avatar is going to be on sale. I've been waiting for that one to be on sale for a long time. So Avatar is on my list. And then one game that's actually not on sale that I want to pick up is some buddies from high school have been playing a game called Factorio on Switch. And I took a look at the demo and it's right up my alley. So I'm going to buy Factorio too.
All right, Lord, which games did you pick up?
Games? I haven't actually bought
items?
the game yet, but I'm gonna get a I've ordered it, a 1 terabyte SSD Corsair little mini NVMe card that I'm gonna swap out on my Steam Deck. So I'm gonna have a 1 terabyte in this bad boy here.
Oh, check you out.
Yeah, and it was like $80. It was like
size
marked
matters.
down. Yeah, exactly. It was like $40 off. So I couldn't turn it down, and I love tinkering with the Steam Deck. So it's like better. It's almost better than just playing games. It's a fun.
Wow.
All right. In terms of the ones I bought, I got Blood Dragon from Far Cry. It was the spinoff of 5 or whatever for $7 on Xbox, and I already finished it, and it's just I don't recommend it. But I'm just telling you what I bought. And then the Prince of Persia, the side scroller that recently came out and was overpriced for $50, is now $20, and so I picked that one up. The combat's definitely hard, but I am enjoying it. Silent Hill 2 on the PlayStation 5, I just picked up for $55. I didn't know about the Target deal for $30, so I got whatever. What are you going to do? So I got it for $55 on PlayStation. I also already picked up Avatar on
nice.
The Xbox. There are multiple SKUs on sale. I opted for the cheaper one at $27, and it's also on sale on the PlayStation 5 as well. So those are the deals that we recommend, or at least that we're taking advantage of this Black Friday. Hang on, let's talk more Thanksgiving stuff. Let's talk some positive Thanksgiving stories. Gaming topics of the week. Molding, you have the first story.
Yeah, it's not really a story, but I just wanted to tell Lord and our audience that Dan and I actually had a meeting with a charity a couple weeks ago, and I just wanted to talk about it a little bit because I think it's a really good organization. So Stack Up was founded in 2015 with a goal to combat isolation and promote mental health by helping U.S. and allied military service members get through deployments to combat zones and recover from traumatic physical and emotional injuries with the power of gaming. There have been a few different programs, or they have a few different programs, but I just wanted to highlight one specifically called Supply Crate. crates. And these are care packages that they put together filled with gaming equipment for deployed troops or veterans in need, created to raise morale, build camaraderie, combat PTSD, and fight the rising tide of veteran suicide. All service members and veterans of the armed forces, both U.S. and allied nations, are eligible for the program. Selection is based on a variety of factors, such as a personal story and mission impact. So if you're interested in receiving a supply crate, go to stackup.org/supply crates and fill out a request and be thorough, because not everyone can be selected. Supply crates aren't the only program that Stack Up is involved in. So if you'd like to know more or see how you can donate, visit stackup.org for more information. They also have a very active Discord server that we're now a part of that you can check out. We here at Good Playing With You are brainstorming ways that we can help them out in the new year, and we're definitely looking forward to working with them. They're a really good organization that we spoke with, and we hope we can find ways that we can help them out a little bit.
Oh my,
Agreed.
you guys.
That's awesome to hear about.
I love this so much.
Yeah.
This is so cool. Like, I am so on board. So cool. I think there's so many good positive things with video games, and I think veterans can definitely benefit from those. So this is awesome. Right up my alley. Well done. Yeah. So stoked.
Yeah, we're happy to partner with them in the future.
Yeah, they were great to talk to. It was great to learn about them. Super excited for all the stuff we're going to do in the future. But first, our step in all of this, of course, as Malding has so eloquently done, is just to make awareness that this project even exists. And they're actually using video games for good. And, by providing video games to our veterans, the positive mental health and everything that comes with that, and the sense of community and all that sort of stuff while they're deployed, is definitely something that we can get behind. And we'll be highlighting more about their programs in the future. But yeah, thank you for that, Malding. That was really good. And thank you to that organization, because it was a great time talking to them, and I look forward to working with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys.
All right, continuing our good news here for the Thanksgiving holiday. There was an article from GameSpot by Blair Marnell titled Terminally Ill Fan Was Able to Play Borderlands 4 Early, and he says it's amazing. Earlier this year, terminally ill Borderlands fan named Caleb McAlpine put out what he described as a, quote, long shot plea to Gearbox to allow him to play Borderlands 4 before he passes away. According to McAlpine, his stage 4 cancer means that he may have less than 2 years to live. Fortunately, Gearbox, though, has come through for McAlpine and fulfilled his wish. In an update posted to Reddit, McAlpine thanked everyone who supported his request and confirmed that Gearbox flew him and a friend out first class to Gearbox's headquarters in Frisco, Texas. During his visit, McAlpine met the developer and Gearbox founder Randy Pitchford. He also shared his first impressions of Borderlands 4. Quote, we got to play what they have for Borderlands 4 so far, and it was amazing, wrote McAlpine. I don't know if I'll be around when the game comes out, but I just want to say thank you to all of you for all of your love and support and for helping and make this happen. It truly was an amazing experience, and it was just awesome, end quote. So that's just like a really nice, positive story to hear. I'm also a super fan of Borderlands, and I know that the developers are busy, and so they can't always accommodate all of the sorts of requests, but seeing the community get behind this on and really bring awareness to it was such a feel-good, awesome story. And the bonus is that we get to hear Borderlands 4 is awesome, as if we had any doubt, but it's nice to hear that firsthand from someone who's actually had hands on their sticks. So what do you guys think about that one?
Jeez, yeah, I mean, you quote at the end. Oh, sorry, Malding.
No.
I just the quote at the end got me a little emotional. Just him saying it. He might not be around when it launches. That is just really tragic, and so I think that just means so much to be able to get his hands on the game, and it's so cool that they pulled that off. I just think that is such a powerful move by the company. It's awesome.
Yeah, you can check out our story. We talked about this a few weeks ago about this kid posting the Reddit message and getting the attention of Gearbox. So you can check out our story from a couple weeks ago where we talked about that.
Now let's talk about what games we as gamers are most thankful for and the ways that they've impacted our lives. Malding, why don't you start?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about because there are some games that have really like I honestly think have made my life better, and one of them is the original Final Fantasy. And I want to say that because when I played that game when I was a little peanut, it just opened my eyes to this whole genre of role playing video games, and I fell in love with it. And since that game, I have fallen in love with so many more JRPGs and RPGs, and it was all because of the time I spent with Final Fantasy 1. So I just wanted to highlight that being like a really formative game for me and the future that I had with video games. So Final Fantasy 1, you can check it out on Switch. They did a remake kind of sort of thing for it, but the original is fantastic as well.
Are you going to say your other one, or did you want to go around, or what are your?
Oh yeah, and then but
Yeah.
sure, my other one is a Skyrim. I've talked about it a lot. I remember taking a week vacation from work when it came out because I was so excited to play it, and it is still a game that I can pick up now and play over and over and over again. Granted, it's 15 years old or so, 14 years old, so it's a little janky by today's standards, but it's a game that really, for me, has been timeless. And I remember playing the original Daggerfall with some friends from high school when I was younger, and this is kind of this is another Elder Scrolls game, and it's just more of just fantastic, really fun gameplay that has really also affected me and my time as a gamer. So those are my two.
Nice. That's a great choice for a week
Yeah.
or a vacation kind of game, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, great choice.
Nice.
Skyrim,
Can't wait for the
amazing.
new one.
Yeah.
Oh my
One
gosh.
day.
Well, yeah, I have a couple on the list, few here. Feel like the first one, honestly, just like I'm so thankful for Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare on the 360. That game, I know this sounds silly, but really introduced me to like online shooters. And just we used to have a thing where we just have like a rotation, just like handing the controller off, and it wasn't really like it'd be like our form of couch co-op. And I feel like that just really were just those days were just really fun on the 360. I thought there was a lot of good community and fun, like I don't know, just like fun times around that console, specifically with Modern Warfare 4. Another one on my list, Duke Nukem 3D for the PC, early days. I just think that was like truly introducing me to like the first person shooters, like getting on the family PC, installing that game, having the box art. So many fun memories, just like, and I almost put Chex Quest because that probably was before Duke Nukem, but remember Chex Quest that came in the Chex box?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh.
Yeah. Honestly, it was like kind of the same formula as Duke Nukem, just much more family friendly. And then one of the games that I feel like had a really cool impact on me was Worms Armageddon, and like going head to head on your friends on the map. Did you guys play much of this back in the day?
No.
Or oh my gosh, you could just like take turns, shooting the rocket launchers, playing little worm guys. Like had had a total blast with that. And then finally, I feel like this just is the king of them all, or queen, I should say. Super Metroid for the SNES.
Mm.
Just that game unlocked my little peanut brain back in the day. I just thought, wow, this can't. I mean, still, it's like it's a total masterpiece. But I am so thankful for that game and just kind of like how it really took me to the next level in my gaming career.
Solid choices.
Yeah, those are really
And I
good.
agree with you both. I mean, both all good picks, and they kind of had my picks had the same sort of like influence on my life. And first, it was like Resident Evil 4 is definitely a pick for me, and this is because I had gotten out of high school and I was like, oh, video games are for kids. I'm too cool for video games. And then my friend Chad was like, no, you have to play the GameCube. And I'm like, whatever. And then he's like, Resident Evil 4 is going to be really cool. So I'm like, I played it. And then I was like, damn, this is what, like video games can be now. This is really cool. And zombies. And it's like, you know what? I'm not too cool for video games. And I am going to play video games for the rest of my life. And Resident Evil 4 made me decide that. And then moving on, I was like, okay, so I only like, this type of game. But then BioShock happened. And I was like, what is this thing? BioShock was the first, believe it or not, first person shooter I ever played, because I was just like, oh no, it has to be third person. I don't know why I was so narrow minded, but then BioShock just blew my peanut brain because it was so cool. The graphics were so amazing. The story was amazing. And it was so much fun. I was like, man, if this is what first-person shooters are and mature video games are, ooh, sign me up. I'm definitely in. And then last but certainly not least, I got to give a shout out to Inquisition. I'm super thankful for that game because that is the very first game I got to be the hero. I got to choose my friends, my party. I got to choose my love interest, and I got the perfect arc where at the end I got to save the guy and save the world. And it was mature and it was cool and it didn't insult me and it was really fun. And it just impacted me in a way that I thought, wow, this is the future. I'm going to play Dragon Age forever. And boy, was I wrong. But the most recent game might not have been upheld the standard the Inquisition had. But definitely Inquisition left that impact of getting to be the hero. And it was a really great story, I thought.
All good choices.
All really good choices.
I agree. And I'll be curious to hear from our audience what their choices are. So definitely sound off in the comments and let us know, of course, what you're playing over the holiday break. That pretty much wraps up everything for us this week. If you guys are watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And if you're listening on a podcast, please tell a friend. And on behalf of Matt Moulding, Matt Lord, and myself, Dan Whitehill, have a great Thanksgiving holiday weekend. Thanks for joining us. And as always, good playing with you.
Good playing with you.
Good playing with you.